Welcome students. We will continue with the last part of our unit. That is, we will talk about, yesterday we started with fisheries. Today we will talk about the inland fisheries. Now what does this inland fishery mean? Inland is nothing but where the water resource or the sources of water is near the land. That is called as inland. This inland fisheries normally includes, we can say it is of two types, fresh water or brackish water. When I say fresh water, it may be canals, ponds, reservoirs or rivers. So these are the examples of the fresh water or inland fresh water sources. Canals, ponds, reservoirs and rivers. So fisheries or fishing can be done in this resources or these sources of water, or there is also one kind of another one water that is called as brackish water. In yesterday's class I told you what is the meaning of brackish. Brackish means where there is mixing of sea water with fresh water. Remember, if this is the river, if it is mixing with the sea, remember sea water mixing with the river water or any other water, this zone is called as the zone of brackish water. So brackish water, did you understand what is the meaning of brackish water? Brackish water is where there is mixing of sea water with fresh water. So example is given as, example for brackish waters are estuaries and lagoons. Now what is the meaning of estuary? Estuary is nothing but, this is something called like the rivers. If it is mixing with the sea water, rivers mixing with the sea water, that area is called as estuary. That area, rivers mixing with sea water, that area is called as estuary. That is which type of water is it? That is called as brackish water. Estuary is a place where river water mixes with the sea water. You know, all the lakes, ponds, rivers, all send their water finally to seas, we say. Seas or oceans. That area where it is joining, that area is called as estuary. Then what are these lagoons? Lagoons is nothing but, it is a water body. It is a water body which is separated, small water body, separated from larger water bodies. Okay, large water bodies by some barriers. Here some land is there, here some land area is there, this much land, and here one water is there, remember. So this may be larger sea and here there is a small island, you say. No, island means a land covered by sea on four sides, by water on four sides. Like that, lagoons means it's a small water area which is covered by a larger water area. Here there is some barrier. Here suppose there is some land area is there, small like shore, and here again water is there. So this type is called as lagoons. So these lagoons and estuaries are also the examples for fish reservoirs. So you can do the fishing, inland fishing in different areas like canals, ponds, reservoirs and rivers. These are all fresh water. When I come to the other part, that is brackish water. Brackish water means where there is mixing of two other waters, especially river water or the fresh water and sea water. So when there are two types, that is estuaries and lagoons. When we talk about estuary means river water mixes with sea water. And when we talk about lagoons is nothing but it is a water body which is covered by a larger water body with barriers. We don't make these barriers. These are all natural barriers. So here we can do fishing, and here fishing is done and you get a high yield. Okay, when you do fishing in these areas or canals, ponds, reservoirs, the fish yield is not very high, very low yield, not so high. Now come to page, I think you can see page number 154, figure 19. You can see this is a fishing done in a pond. So that is fish pond. So generally farmers rear only one type of fishes or prawns. Yesterday we talked about the different, what are the different animal sources we get from water. We talked about fish, we talked about prawns, we talked about crabs, lobsters. These are all the important, economically important products coming from the river or from especially sea. These are all seafoods. But here you can do it for either fish or prawns. More intensive fish farming can be done in composite fish culture system. So composite means complex. Normally fishing, if it is a fish pond, in this only one type of fishes are being reared, or only one type. So that is a simple fish pond. But there is one more type that is called as composite fish pond. Composite means where you rear more than one variety or more than one type. That means you may take ribbon fish, you may take mackerel, you can take sardines, any other different types of fishes together in one place. That is called as composite. In such a system means which system? In composite system, a combination of 5 or 6, not 1 or 2, 5 or 6 species are used in single fish pond. Page 154. Everyone be on page 154. These species are selected so that they do not compete for food among them and have different types of food habits. As a result, the food available in all the parts of the pond is used. We will see example. As katlas are surface feeders, remember they have taken the example of katla, rohu, mrigals. Just see, the katlas, they will feed on the surface. Here, katla will be on the top. There will be no competition. Second layer will be by rohus, the fish named rohu. The lower layer will be mrigals. And grass calves feed on the weeds. See, so everyone, if it is a fish pond, they have taken different types or varieties of fishes. And when we take different varieties of fishes, they are not competing here because katla will take only the surface food, while rohus will take the middle portion. So in this way you can see there are different fishes in same fish pond. That is called as composite fish pond. These species can use all the food in the pond without competing with each other. This increases the fish yield from the pond. Even if one species of fishes are infected with the disease, it is not spread to other. So if any one fish gets disease also, it does not spread to the next zone because they are on the surface area. The second area is some other fish, it will not infect. So diseases will also not be infected. So next is the problem. Okay, this is the advantage. Now we will see what are the disadvantage. What is the first disadvantage they are talking about? See, they are underlined. Composite fish culture is that many of these fishes breed only during which season? Monsoon season. So here fish breeding commonly more yield is given only in monsoon season. Even if fish seed is collected from the wild, it can be mixed with that of other species as well. So a major problem in fish farming is a lack of availability of good quality seed. So underline that. So problem here is that we do not get the appropriate fish seeds. You know, fish seed means what? Fish eggs. Yesterday we told fish eggs are nothing but the fish seeds. To overcome this problem, we have now been worked out to breed these fish in ponds using hormonal stimulation. This has ensured the supply of pure fish seed in desired quantities. Fish is highly perishable. So here problem now, what problem we had? We did not get fish seed because fish seed is common in which season? Monsoon season. But when we go for the other season, we won't get. So what is being done is hormonal stimulation. That means they are using hormones and making the seeds so that it will be available throughout the year. Now next problem is the fish is highly perishable. Perishable means it gets damaged. The meat of the fish, you know, isn't it? If we keep it out for some time, what will happen to the fish meat? It will get spoiled. So this spoiling is called as perishable. The processing of fish is very important in fish culture. There are several traditional methods of curing fish depending upon the local demands and export. So now here preservation of fish is very important. So we have seen, you have seen cold storage units. So cold storage units means which will preserve the fish. Sometimes even drying. Drying also protects or prevents or increases the shelf life of fish. So they go for drying. Which drying it is given there underline? Sun drying, semi drying, salting, drying, pickling. Again, pit curing are some of these common methods employed in our state. So these are the small, simple methods for preservation of fish, because one fish which we find during monsoon season may not be available in the other season. So commonly what do the villagers do? They take the fishes, they cut it into smaller pieces and they dry it, sun drying. Sometimes salting is done, salting also. Why this salting or drying is done? To increase the shelf life or to make it for more years. It should be safe. For that reason we are going for all these steps. Animal husbandry means where you are looking after the animals, taking care of the animals. That is called as animal husbandry. Poultry, fish culture, bee culture are the major practices in food production. Our government provides opportunities to improve animal food production to fulfill the food requirement of growing population. So this is the end of our lesson. There are some things which you have to read for yourself. There are 2 boxes of do you know. They are talking about the seaweeds. Seaweeds are nothing but they are the resources which are found in sea water, oceans. Then they have given the explanation of estuaries in do you know boxes, page number 154 and 155. So next I will send you the questions which you have to write in the message. So here we come to the end of the lesson, chapter 9. The new chapter we will start in the next class. Thank you.